As I build my coaching business, I want to know how to effectively serve clients and make more money doing it. This podcast will pull back the curtain to reveal exactly how successful coaches are building their empires. Join me as I engage with top coaches from all over the world to discover their secrets. No theatrics and no theory, just real-life strategy. My name is William Winterton, and this is Coaching Success Radio. Hey, what's going on, Coaching Success Radio? Oh my gosh, I am so excited about today's episode. I have been waiting for months to bring on this guy. This is Steve Larsen. This is the guy who I actually started my podcast because of this guy. Basically, the long and short of it is, whenever I was first playing around with the idea of starting a podcast for coaches, I was like, yeah, I don't know, I may or may not do this. And I saw that Steve actually had an opportunity on his site where it was basically interviewsteve.com. And you could go on, you could talk to this guy. And I'm like, well, that'd be really freaking awesome to bring Steve Larsen onto a program. I don't even have a funnel or a podcast yet, but man, it'd be really cool. So I jumped on there and I was looking for, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even like a month, trying to find a time that I could like schedule with him, and he was constantly busy. And then finally I got this time at the end of July, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's available. Click, cool. And I booked this time with Steve Larsen. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have Steve Larsen on my podcast. Wait, I don't have a podcast yet. I gotta start something. So this is like back in, like, I don't know, maybe March or something when I did this. So this is way back there. And I was like, crap, I'm gonna start a podcast. So what am I gonna do? So I started dialing in and figuring out, okay, I'm gonna go Coaching Success Radio. I got all the information I needed to get this thing started. I had 40 or 50 different shows so far and tons of interviews, tons of great content. But it all started because I was like kicked in the butt by going, okay, I've got to have something so that whenever I bring Steve Larsen onto my program, I'm not just brand new, starting out, like not knowing what I'm doing. So all that to say, this is the guy who kind of is responsible for everything that I've got on this show. If you look at my background whenever I'm doing my interviews, the Sales Funnel Radio banner, that's the banner that he's got is the same thing, and so is my Coaching Success Radio. It's the same kind of a format. My intro is based off of what he does. I mean, a lot of the content that I come up with is because of all the things I've learned from him and how he builds his business up. He's really a mentor of mine, and he's an amazing guy, and I am super grateful and humbled that he was able to come onto the program. And I knew that whenever he was coming here that I wasn't going to have a lot of time. He's incredibly busy, and in fact, when we first started our conversation, he's like, cool, we got 20 minutes, let's go. And that was it. I was like, that's it, right? There's no time for chit chat, which is totally understandable. He's got so much going on. So I decided I would do kind of an intro here and explain a little bit about who he is and why he is so important for you to be paying attention to. He gives a little background in the interview itself, but I'll just let you know that Steve was Russell Brunson's right-hand man. Russell Brunson, the creator of ClickFunnels. You can Google that. You can look all that up to see who Russell is if you don't know. Steve is not necessarily famous, but he is internet famous. In other words, a lot of people online know certainly what ClickFunnels is and who Russell Brunson is. And Steve Larsen is like the second, like, in command. Like, everybody knows who he is, who has anything to do with sales or funnels or really creating offers. And that is where he has landed as far as what his super amazing skill set is offer creation. He has an incredible intensive course that builds up and teaches you how to create offers. He has a live workshop called OfferMind, which is amazing. He's been a guest author in a ton of books. I have actually all of his books, that everything he's done, everything that he is a part of, his podcast, his books, anything that this guy does, I tend to follow and look at it and go, oh my gosh, that's freaking genius. He is overflowing with value, and I am super excited because today he goes into a lot of detail about how to build an offer, which is something that I think a lot of coaches kind of don't recognize when they first get going. Even after you've been doing this for a while, you've got your skill set, you've got your ability to coach people, you've got maybe even your ideal client, maybe you even know kind of your avatar and who it is you want to work with, and you have some of those ideas, but what actually is your offer? And he goes into a lot of detail about what is good, what is bad, what the common mistakes are, and then he actually, if you're just listening to this, you may actually want to go to the YouTube, and he actually draws out real quick kind of a sketch of how to build out an offer. He'll talk you through it. If you're just listening, you'll get the idea, but he's also on YouTube here. You're going to be able to see what he's actually presenting as he madly, in true Steven Larsen / Russell Brunson kind of form, just sketches out on the paper and like, here's how it works. The guy is on fire. He is super fast and super smart. I don't know what else to say. I think the guy is just genius, and I am just humbled and thrilled to be able to introduce right now to you my conversation with Steven Larsen. I'm here on Coaching Success Radio, and I am super stoked because today I've got Steven Larsen on, and Steven Larsen, I gave a big old intro in the beginning here to kind of explain who he is, but I would love to hear from you, man. Who is Steven Larsen?
Someone who is still developing himself. No, it's been fun. I first started out, I was kind of an entrepreneur not by choice. You know what I mean? I don't think many kids grow up thinking like, when I grow up, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Like, it's just not a normal thing.
Right.
But turns out it's incredibly fun and something that I was kind of thrown into when I found out I couldn't feed my lady, right? I couldn't feed my new bride, and stuff kind of hit the fan, and it was really rough for a long time. And I recounted recently. It was my first 17 tries, didn't really work very well. And I went from everything from like selling stocks and options, the real estate and diamonds and ebooks and door-to-door sales. And I mean, I did a lot of stuff. And then I found out this thing called funnels, right? This funnel world was amazing. And that was about try 17. And it was another 16, 17. They weren't all failures, but it was like, none of them were like these screaming successes. It wasn't for another 16, 17. So one was like, boom, holy cow, So anyway, I left my job as ClickFunnels funnel builder, and I've been doing it on my own, and it's been awesome.
And that's kind of the story. I think anybody who's not aware, Sales Funnel Radio is a phenomenal source, and you're basically telling your life through this podcast, right?
Yeah.
Documenting your journey. So what I would love to get into, because a lot of our audience, we're talking to coaches, people who are just starting out in the coaching world, or people who are coaches and trying to figure out how this game works and how to actually make money in this. You kind of, you became a coach. Not really wasn't your intention, I don't think, in the beginning, but you somehow got handed this thing, I think by Russell probably. It was like, I need you to coach all these people, and you had no idea the magnitude I was going to get to. Talk us through that story a little bit.
Yeah, totally. So it actually was, I'd only been working for Russell because I worked for him for about almost 2 years. And it was probably 6 months in. We were at his old office, and we were sitting there, and, we sat literally back to back almost. I could see his face in the reflection of my monitors, and which freaked me out for a while. I was like, oh, don't say anything stupid. This is amazing, And so after a little while, though, he was on with his inner circle. He gets off. And he muted, and he turned his camera off to just kind of like, he was a full day coaching, and relaxed for a second. And I go, dude, you're saying the same thing basically to every single person. And he was like, I know, isn't that kind of funny? He's like, it is kind of funny. And he's like, everything from a supplement to a makeup business to like crazy e-com to info business to retail I was like, you're saying the same thing. And I was like, what if we created something between you and them so that you can take them from here and up instead of all the way from the ground and all the way up. So what I did is I started going through like 12 years of his content, and it took me 6 months to organize it. And I said, from this minute and second to this minute and second, you're talking about this. But really, you should know these things before you know that. And it was like this huge trail, and it took a long time. And anyway, I begged we put it into this members area. We made an event around it, and I begged to be the guy to go on stage, and Russell couldn't. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll see. I don't know. But like, I wanted it real bad. And I begged, and I, played the game how I needed to, and made sure I like got myself in there. And I ended up being the guy to teach when Russell couldn't get on stage. And that's when Steve was born, right? That's when Steve Larsen was born. I started finding my voice. And we all thought that I was going to be teaching. And like, we thought I'd be teaching marketing. And I was not planning on being a coach. I had no interest in being a coach. Nothing against it. It's just, I was like, I'm really into funnels, and I go and I'm standing on the stage, and I start realizing that I'm teaching these models that work. But once they understand it, the real work begins, because now they're going to start working to execute the model. That's where they need the coaching. And we all thought I'd be doing this like marketing stuff, and it wasn't. I ended up helping them get through their own garbage so they could even execute the model in the first place. And then later on, it was the One Funnel Away challenge. And Russell's like, dude, your DNA is built for this. You yell at people without them knowing you're yelling at them. And I was like, all right, fine. So then One Funnel Away started, and that's kind of how it happened. And that's the biggest thing I've realized as coaches. I mean, yes, we teach them like these cash models, but that's not why they fail. Does it work for me? Yeah. But that's not why it's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you because you haven't worked through enough of your garbage to even execute that model. So that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, so it's totally a very unconventional approach, because a lot of people that I'm talking with and I work with, they go through and have a ton of training. They learn to become a life coach or a health coach or a fitness coach, and they go through all this coaching training.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your main goal is to get somebody from here to here. And you've got kind of a very unconventional approach to that in terms of like, look, I'm not taking it. I've actually enjoyed listening to kind of, you don't take anybody's crap. like you yell at people very nicely, but like, I'm not dealing with it. So it's a thing where you're now kind of I'll picture as like the authority of offer creation. That's kind of where you've landed now. You've gone through the coaching role. You're still coaching though, but your main kind of where your sweet spot's landing is in offer creation. Talk about that a little bit. I know that's kind of where your passion is. So
yeah, everything can't sell anything without an offer, right? So how do you craft that so it can be attractive and something that people get psyched about when they see it? And there's a lot that goes into that. Is the better people can understand, and this is true for coaches as well. The better you can understand behavioral psychology, like why we make the decisions we do, the better coach you'll be, and the better marketer you actually end up being. They're actually, coaches and marketers are very similar in skill sets, in my opinion. So what's interesting is like, as I go teach these offer creation methods, I mean, they've worked for hundreds and thousands of people, and so many people made $1 million off of them. And so like, man, I'm not going to lie. Like, the reason I started yelling was out of pure frustration after a while. And it wasn't like a shtick. It wasn't like, I'm getting a little impatient with this person who keeps asking, but will it work it for me? And I have responded for 15 minutes saying, yes, just do it. But I'm in a unique scenario. What? You found a way to negate 100,000-year-old brain? Like, you have one too. It's like, it works also. And so I started coming up with these rules for coaching, right? Like, I will put in as much as you put in. I will, and a lot of it came from Sean Stevenson, actually. I was listening to him at the first Funnel Hacking Live I went to, and he was teaching the Coast Guard mantra. And he's like, you're right, and I'm sure you've heard it, right? And they go out in a helicopter, and there's a ship sinking, and there's more bodies in the water than there's room on the helicopter. Gut-wrenching decisions. Who do you save? And he's like, you save those that are swimming towards you.
Right.
And for a long time, I felt responsible for every single person that was coming in. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, man, I got to stop. And so putting the ball back in their court, look, here's your goal. I'm teaching you how to make the money that way, but be prepared because you're going to hit a lot of obstacles. Was it Robert Kiyosaki? He's like, the moment you start down any journey, you're going to have these character flaws explode in your face, and you got to address them before you can move on. So it's funny because I love teaching the offer creation, but when I do, I'm only teaching a few of the models right now, but it's just because I teach them and then I observe the behavior of the individual, and you go back and like, oh man. Anyway, I love offer creation. It's amazing. It's the core and the heart of why we market, but I've really.
Would you mind, I'm going to jump in here real quick. Would you mind kind of walking us through offer creation? Is a very, it's an amazing term, and it's very broad. Somebody who doesn't understand it totally. We talk about having to build your offer. We talk about having to have your ideal client and stuff. Can you give us kind of a little snippet of, like Steve Larsen genius in that?
Sure. Hopefully it's genius. Oh man, pressure's on now. I got paper here. So we have to understand is like, too many times I feel like the way people made offers even 5 years ago was they would just start bundling stuff, and they'd be like, well, let's put this product and this product and this product and this product. And a lot of people would start assembling these offers where the products inside the offer was just tons of stuff, right? It was just stuff. And a lot of it wasn't even related. And so what I do that's made it so unique is it's a combination of, so marketing is just changing people's beliefs so that they go buy something, right? That they're already in motion to buy. That's all marketing is. It's not logos, it's not slogans, it's not cute little, it has nothing to do with business cards. I hate business cards. It's just changing beliefs with the intent of a sale. So what's interesting about my offer creation method is that it kind of incorporates that and addresses the product at the same time. Anyway, so what I do first of all is I imagine my customer, and I'm like, let's think about this customer here. This customer, they're already in momentum towards something, and they're already feeling pain. A lot of old school copywriting courses would teach things like, you need to go and talk about the issues that your customer has that they don't know they have so that you can then bring your solution in. And there's some truth to that, but they already have problems though. And I want to sell somebody who is consciously aware of the problem that they have so that I don't have to create it. It actually kills half of the work that was taught like in the previous 10 years around copywriting. It shortcuts it like crazy. You don't need to do that. Just go and figure out. So my dream customer is somebody who is already a few things. They're already in pain and they're conscious of that pain. They're already spending money. That's been one of the most powerful criteria ever. They're already aware of other solutions that are out there and they've actually tried them. So huge. They already are consciously seeking another option, right? And these are like, this is like a lot of things that I go and I think through before I even think about an offer. Like sales message, offer, funnel, that comes like step 99, to be honest. What I do first is get ridiculous clarity on the who. And once I know the who, this part's really fun. And it's really at the foundation of how I create the offer. Every single customer that's out there has problems, right? Or things they need solving. All I'm going to do is I'm going to start listing out problems. Now it's a gift. You know, like when you go to, let's say you get ClickFunnels.
Okay.
How many things did you have to solve in order to actually use ClickFunnels? Right? I got to learn how to write copy.
Right.
I never had to do that. You know, I remember I was like, man, I got to make a sales video. It's like, what kind of camera, or I got to do this or that. All these problems start popping up in order for you to actually have success, right? And every single solution that you sell somebody actually causes more problems. And it's crazy to realize that. And it's actually a gift to entrepreneurs. So all I do is I think through all these problems that this customer currently has and what they're wanting. And then I rank the problems. This is actually how I do it. It's called the core problem planner. That's what I call it anyway. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Because not all problems pay me the same. I could solve the problem of how to put groceries into a bag at the end of a checkout line, but that's not a very valuable problem to solve.
Right.
So I'm going to go solve a problem that's a combination of super valuable for them, but also expensive and valuable for me so that I can get paid a lot. So I'm engineering this offer to create a lot of cash before I even think about the offer is. I want to know at the heart of what I'm solving. It's the reason ClickFunnels can charge what they do. They solve an issue that is highly valuable and legitimately for both sides. And so at the beginning, before I even think about a solution, I just want to know what problem I'm going to dedicate my entire business to solving. That is how I figure out the foundation of my offer. Now, all I do is think about my one solution. I call it the core solution. One core solution. And this part's super fun and easy as well. So I think about one core solution, and then I start thinking about what are the follow-up problems that solution creates, such as ClickFunnels. Crap, now I need to figure out what a sales letter is, right? Then all I do is I think through little tiny mini solutions for all the follow-up problems I can think of, and that becomes my offer. That becomes the stack slide, as we call it. And that's it. And now it's customer and problem derived rather than what should I go create, which is what college taught me. It's so backwards. I'm not the one buying it. Who cares?
Right. Yeah. You are not your ideal client at all.
No. Yeah. So that's how very fast. That's how we do it.
And that's great. And I think that's the thing we get so wrapped up in. And I talk to coaches all day long, and their biggest thought, at least a lot of them, are, I've got to get more training. I've got to learn how to do this better. I've got to become a better coach. I've got to do all this stuff. And it's like they learn and they learn and they learn, and they're perpetually schooling and learning. And it's awesome because they're continually, they're feeding that, right? Yeah. But when it comes out to, creating something, the number of times I see people who are like, hey, I'm a life coach. I'm a health coach. And that's what they say. And you're like, yeah, but who do you serve? What does that mean? Who do you fix, right?
Yeah.
So what you just laid out, and I hope people are realizing this is what you're laying out is so key to actually making your coaching business work. Because if you have a good offer in place, you're just another face in the crowd, really.
So true. Before you even think about what you do, I would think about who you want to serve. In fact, that's where I got stuck for years. Was I was like, what product should I sell? What should I sell? What should I sell? And it was like something I kind of whipped myself with for years. It wasn't until I switched it that I actually started making money. I mean, it was that stark of a switch. And instead of saying, what do I sell? It's who do I sell? And when I got clear on that, what to sell was actually chosen by the who. And I was like, oh, that is way easier. I don't have to be this prolific creative genius and make something that no one has ever seen, like college and mainstream entrepreneurship teaches. That's false. And then they're like, oh, sweetest hack to the game ever.
Nice. Hey, Steve, I would keep you on here for another hour or two because I would just feel like I would just suck value out of you all day long. I have to respect your time. I know you've got like a minute left probably at the most. Is there anything that I have not asked you that would just be for a coach who is maybe not brand new, but maybe who's been stuck? Maybe they've been going for a couple of years and they're just stuck. Is there something you would just throw at them for kind of getting jostled loose a little bit?
Yeah, 100%. What I realize my role is and kind of where some of the it offends some people, man. I'm not trying to offend anybody. It's just, this is what I learned was that, when I was in high school, I was 35% body fat. I had a double chin working on a triple, right? I was a big boy. I was getting picked on. I got straight D's. I got Mercy graduated from high school. I went to college. I got kicked out because I got pretty much straight F's. And I had to wait 4 years to go back to reapply. I was told that I probably have ADHD, which that's not confirmed, and I don't really care anymore, but whatever. I had a near clinical fear of speaking to adults, especially. I would see an adult down the hall, and I would walk the other way physically. It freaked me out. I had some real issues. And I would call myself like the most least likely success story. And so the thing that I had to realize is that funny enough, when that counselor that I was going to, he's like, you probably have ADHD, it became another whip. Oh man, you're right. I don't qualify anymore. Like I already knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I can't be an entrepreneur anymore because of, look at all this evidence. Look, I got kicked out. Look, I got right. And it wasn't until I realized that, man, those were gifts. Like every single thing in my life that has been bad, I've had to face. And until I actually consciously faced it, it became a strength. And now, funny enough, one of the things I'm known for. And I'm like, what? And so what's funny, this is what I realized my role as a coach is. It's just this. And I know why people ask what they do now, right? That my role of a coach is to teach these cash models, right? This is what they want. But what they need is this, right? And they're going to go through some serious crap along the way. And they need to realize that the obstacle is the way. That's a Ryan Holiday quote. And I actually keep a coin on my desk that says the obstacle is the way as a reminder. I ended up learning how to learn 4 years later, went back to college, almost got straight A's the whole time, right? Little coin, obstacle is the way. And on the back says the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. And I freaking love this, right? And I went and I lost tons of weight and started competing in sprint triathlons and placing in them. I learned how to speak. You wouldn't know that I was afraid of speaking now, right? And it was by me, like they want whatever you're coaching them for. But what they need is to realize that all this crap in their life, all these reasons why they feel like they're unqualified are the very reason they'll be followable in the future. But most of them don't get it. And so what happens is while I'm in the middle of my coaching and I'm teaching this, but I'm starting to observe this, they start doing some of these things. Oh, Steven, I just don't have the time right now. I just wish that or Steven, I so wish right now, like I can't do this because of this, right? And they want me to say yes. And the moment I say yes, I release them. And it's why I started yelling. Because they would look at me and they'd be like, well, Steven, what? This only works for those. And we'll be like 3 weeks into the One Funnel Away challenge. So you're saying this only works then for these scenarios. I'm like, no! What is wrong with you, right? I have gone over this time and time again. Don't ask me to let you go because I'm not going to, which means you are going to let you go. So you face you in the mirror next time. And that's what's so funny. And people are like, oh, I hate it. And they'll poop their pants. Half of them will leave. But we're left with these people who are ready to actually face the crap in their life. The obstacle is the way. And realize that, man, the funnel we launched last week, I'm still using the same principles that I learned 6 years ago. Has nothing to do with the model anymore. It has everything to do with how far I'm willing to grow and face my obstacles and find the next one and redevelop me and keep the goal what it is and break me on the goal. Don't change the goal, break me on it and keep building me on it. And I keep killing all these nasty character flaws that I didn't know I had. And that's what people run into. And so when you're coaching somebody, whatever it is, That's what I'm watching for, is I'm watching for this logical release that they want me to give so I can justify them bowing out. And I'm like, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I'm going to make you feel the heat. Right. And anyway, that's what I'd say. Remember the obstacles away.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Steve Larsen, man, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for jumping on. And hey, I'd love to have you back at some point whenever your schedule frees up in the next 3 or 5 years.
You're the man, dude. This has been awesome. Loved being on this sweet show.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. New episodes are coming out every few days, including lots of conversations with massively successful coaches sharing their secrets with you. So be sure to subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel so that you don't miss out. And if you're looking for a way to start making serious money from your coaching, you need to check out my free training. It's at williamwinterton.com. I lay out the step-by-step on how to start making 5 figures a month in the next 60 days. Check it out, williamwinterton.com. I'll see you next time.